All right. Can anyone hear me now? Hold on one second. The professionalism's just not working at the moment. Hold on. We got to shut down the audio and restart. I don't know why we don't have any audio. Hold on. Hold on. 1 second. Can anyone hear me? Is the camera microphone working? So I've still got no audio. I got to. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. 1 second. One second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, okay. Hold on. So everyone can hear me now? If you can hear me, someone give me a thumbs up. Someone give me something because my whole soundboard just crashed. Unprofessionalism at its finest. The whole soundboard just literally crashed. I don't know what the hell's going on here. I got no audio display. I got nothing, but I'm running on the installing camera. So hopefully everyone can still hear me. This is Tim as your Giant Straight Talk powered by Online Big Blue LLC. As always, we're trying to figure out what's going on with the audio here. My soundboard just went crazy. We want to talk about New York Football Giants. We want to talk about the Knicks. We want to talk about OGR saying, Mr. Hold on, is saying unprofessional. Go on from working on your carburetor, straighten out the podcast. Trying to work on the carburetor today, trying to get everything done. And then I'm getting people texting me. The first one I have to admit texting me was OGR Sports. And OGR, of course, tells me, you need to go and I love OGR. You need to go and look at Twitter. And I was like, well, Carl Banks sabotaging the live stream. I have not looked at Twitter yet, OGR. So what we're talking about with Carl Banks shit. I have not gone on there yet, and I'm gonna go on there shortly. But I have to I gotta figure out what the hell's going on with my audio. But I'm gonna have to go on there. I want to talk about the Giants offseason. I want to talk about what the Giants, what they've done so far, going back to the beginning of 2025, before the draft, going into free agency. We're gonna try turning on the soundboard again because my soundboard just crapped out. But good morning. We also have the Knicks with the big win last night. Good morning, Tim. How about those Knicks last night? The Knicks were rocking last night. They made me feel good. Once again, New York. They made me feel like we have a team, we have an organization. This team is built to beat the Celtics. That's what this team has done. The Knicks are put together to beat the Bulls. And they always have been that way. Hold on, wait a minute, guys. I think I can go to. Yeah, hold on. Oh, okay. We got the soundboard working again. Should we go on Twitter? Should we go on Twitter and let's see? Because if Carl Banks is sabotaging the stream, this has to be something Carl Banks related. So evidently this is breaking news, guys. So let's go on X. X. And what does X have to say? I have multiple notifications. That's never a good thing. Reposted something that I was mentioning. The Giants scored 20 points just 4 times last year. The record in the game was 3-1. Well, I don't understand what this is. I don't know what I'm getting posted by Jeff Smith and OGR and some football friendly. You guys know I have a hard time with Twitter. I don't understand what am I looking for, guys? Can someone give me an indication, OGR, what I'm looking for on Twitter? OGR, that's a good collab, but you also should do one with the newest member of the Believe Network. Okay. So many homers, Carl Banks. You need more realistic Giant content creators and Online Big Blue One. Plus, it's nice to tie in that you're both on the Believe Network. Carl Banks, you misinterpreted my. Oh, Jesus. People, why are you getting me in trouble with Carl Banks? Really? Why? You know I could get myself in trouble with Carl Banks all on my own. I don't need help.
Yeah, he doesn't need help. We're from Gary guys.
Yeah, I don't need help getting in trouble with Carl Banks. I can do that all on my own. So what is going on here? Hold on. All right, last thing I'm looking at here. So many homers.
You misinterpreted the invitation. Online Big Blue is, oh, okay. Now I see what the thing is talking about. Online Big Blue is absolutely welcome to join the discussion. My only request that everyone rewatch the Colts game. We're exploring the possibilities of New York Giants offense with new tools. I was at the Colts game. Do I really have to fucking rewatch that? Carl Banks then posted me on something and said, anyone serious, let's go. And then he sent it to me. And now Carl Banks is following me. Okay. All right. Well, okay. We're gonna go from there. We're gonna figure out that one later. But if you take a look at this New York Giants off season, let's talk about this for a minute. You finished the team with 3-14. We all know that. We don't need to speculate that. We know what the score was, and we know what the record was. And you went from 6-11, and we've said it before. You go 7-2, then you go 2-5-1. So you've seen a regression for 2.5 seasons. And I always think about the Giants. I think about identity. When I think about the 86 and 90 team, I think about identity. I think about the identity of the defense. I think about the toughness of the offense and Joe Morris and O.J. Anderson. People also forgetting that in that 90 season, O.J. Anderson was actually the backup to Rodney Hampton, who got hurt late in the season. But you think of the running game, you think of the toughness, you think of the defense on its own, and you kind of speculate what's the Giants' identity going into this year, going into 2025. What's going to be their identity on both offense and defense? Petro says, good morning, Tim. How are you and the family doing? Good. So we're all doing good. Mark Hernandez says, good morning, Tim. Let's go, Giants. We have the other big Mike saying, good morning, Tim. James Stein says, good morning, Tim. How about those Knicks last night? We got that. OGR is saying he's sabotaging. Yeah, OGR, you know what? I have a feeling, OGR, you were, from what I'm reading, you were a little bit into the saboteur mode. My favorite line from Star Trek, the last Star Trek, is when they don't want to leave Kirk and McCoy on the planet, and you learn the definition of sabotage, which is when the Chinese workers would throw their sabots into the machinery to stop it from working. There go the name sabotage. Little bit of information there. But what is the identity of this team going to be in 2025? Let's think about this, right? We know the identity of the Knicks, the way they were built this offseason, with giving $212 million to OG Anunoby, getting the big cat, giving Mikal Bridges, getting him for those 5 first-round picks, even though it wasn't 5 first-round picks, it was 3 first-round picks and 2 first-round swaps. You knew what the identity was, to beat the Boston Celtics, plain and simple. That's why this starting 5 was put together to beat the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. But what do the Giants do? What are the Giants looking at right now? You take a look at the offseason moves. You take a look at the draft. What's the identity? What's the identity on defense? Well, that's pretty much going to be, even Petro says, we need better middle linebackers. This is going to be the defense. The identity is going to be the pass rush. That's it. You went out and got Abdul Carter. Now everyone's going to talk about the 12.5 sacks, and they're also going to talk about the 24 tackles for losses. But I'm going to drop knowledge, because sometimes we like to do these fun things. His 24 tackles for loss was technically only 12. Unlike the NFL, most college scorers give you not only a sack, but a tackle for a loss. The NFL, they don't do that. Most college, and I've talked to some people that score college games. One of them scores games for Rutgers. One of them scores games for Penn State. And one of them scores games for Villanova. Or they used to score games for Villanova a long, long time ago. And they say the same thing. You are actually given most people will give you a tackle for a loss with the sack. So, you go out and get Abdul Carr. You go out and get You go out and get Alexander, more of an undersized defensive end. And, he was the 13th defensive end taken. And he's a little bit undersized. I don't think he's going to hold up well against the point of attack. But what does Joe Schoen in his interview talk about when he talks about Alexander? He talks about his athleticism. He talks about his pass rushing prowess. So what we are seeing here is you have Abdul Carter, Alexander, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns. You're thinking to yourself, what's going to happen is you're going to have this massive pass rush. The Giants at one point in time last year were leading the leagues in sacks. But I love Mr. Taz. I got to stop now. What about those guys who scored the great and mighty Furman, best liberal of college in the South? Yeah, well, first of all, I'm still waiting to hear back from Furman. I have 2 years of eligibility because of the new JUCO rules. So I have 2 years of eligibility. So I'm hitting the NIL portal and I'm trying to go to Furman. Because if you could throw 5 touchdowns against Furman, 19 touchdowns in 4 games, 10 touchdowns in 8, I'm not going to say who, but if you could throw against the mighty Furman, I think they need my defensive prowess. Oh, Massey comes in strong saying, I saw the video of Deion Sanders hoping the Giants would draft Shador. Giants clearly didn't want him then. Wow. You know, this thing with Shador Sanders, like, do I think there was collusion with Shador Sanders? Yes. Do I think there's certain ownership that took him off the board because of Deion and his attitude? 100%. Do I think that Shador hurt his own cause? Oh, 1,000%. You made a mockery of the draft process. And if you don't want to go to the combine and participate, that's fine. But go through the interviews. You don't want to take the Wonderlic, that's fine. If you're going to go, if you think you're going to go in the top 5, meet with the teams that you see in the top 5 and show some interest. Don't get pissy. Now, listen, if you look at Brian Dable, and like I said, Hard Knocks is the gift that keeps on giving. He is especially with Jaden Daniels, he comes off kind of dicky, which maybe that's just his personality. I never met the man. But if that rubs you the wrong way, then you're definitely not going to be on the Giants. And like I said, Shador did it to himself. You know, but again, like I said, is there some type of collusion? Yes. 100%. If you do not feel that there's some type of collusion with Colin Kaepernick, you're crazy. It's the same type of collusion with Tim Tebow. Yeah, you don't think Colin Kaepernick or Tim Tebow could not be a third quarterback in this league? Yeah, I don't know. The Knicks are the anti, but thank you for the super chat, Messi. The Knicks are the anti-Giants. I was telling James Williams this morning, I could literally I could do anything now after that Knick win. We should start a poll. How do I do a poll? What about a poll? Does anyone know how to do a poll? I don't know how to do a poll, guys. I was going to do a poll. So evidently, I can go on. I'm reading all the Twitter posts now. Evidently, I can go on a, I guess they're doing a live something on Friday. I can go on it. I got a kind of an invitation, I guess. But should I do it? It's a Friday night, though. Friday night, just got paid. Friday night, I usually spend out. I usually don't spend Friday nights at home. But how do I start a poll? Does anyone know how you do a poll on this thing here? I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to do a poll. We'll ask the question later. Let's see here. B. Will said the Giants and Knicks both champions in their division. Constructing the team beat your rivals is a good idea to me. Yes and no. And this is the thing, and I was getting with the Giant defense, but I got sidetracked. You have a plethora of undersized defensive end.
You say I have a plethora of piñatas?
El Wapo, you definitely have a plethora. You have 3 guys that are almost identical. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and now Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter, to me, is more of that speed rusher. He's not going to be the outside linebacker, or he's not going to be the middle linebacker that people think. He was 2 years of an off-the-ball linebacker at Penn State. And I'm going to give out a number that tells you why he is not going to be an off-the-ball linebacker in the NFL, Abdul Carter. And OGR Sports, who happens to be a very qualified Penn State fan, will probably know this number. His missed tackle percentage in 2023, Abdul Carter, as an off-the-ball linebacker, was 27.5%. NFL, a missed tackle percentage of 8 is high. 11 is terrible. Abdul Carter missed 27.5% of his tackles his second year, his sophomore year. And that's one of the reasons why, besides the fact that Penn State lost a defensive end in the first round and in the third round last year's draft, why they switched him. But that is the reason why. That is a percentage and a reason why he is where he's at. Since Carl Banks follows me again, do I have to put the Carl Banks on back on the computer? Remember we threw it we threw it like a year ago. It's still on the other side of the office on the floor because I'm lazy and I don't clean up shit in my office. My office looks like a bomb. went off on it. But I mean that's the reason why. So you have this identity on defense, and if it but it's not like the Knicks. The Knicks almost went player to player, pimp to pimp, and saw exactly who they need to get to go up against Tatum, to go up against everyone else on this team. That team, the Knicks, and that's what the Knicks did. That's what Leon Rose and his staff did. The Giants went out and they got pass rushers, yes, but they're all undersized pass rushers that do the exact same thing. Now the problem is you have a wall of an offensive line in Philly. You have an improved offensive line in Washington, and you always have the same offensive line, not the same, but the better than average offensive line in Dallas. Will mismatches be created? Yes, 100,000%. Would this defense make a hell of a lot more sense if you put somebody like, I don't know, Steve Wilkes or Wink Martindale in charge? Because the bend not break Shane Bowen defense is what it is. That's all you want. That's all you're going to say. So if you're going to build a attacking style speed rush defense with undersized defensive ends, and that's going to be your philosophy, and Shane Bowen, going back to his days in Tennessee, blitzes maybe 20% of the time and likes to generate the rush with 4, kind of like Philly does, but Philly has a lot bigger guys. You're kind of looking at the same type of philosophy. Now, the problem is if you are going to have this rush of 4, if you are going to have 3 guys on the line that may have the tendency to over pursue and not hold their assignments and not hold their edge against the run, which is why we get gashed every year. And since going back to the Cleveland preseason game in Joe Judge era, off tackle left, off tackle right, off tackle left, off tackle right, over the top. You have to make sure that these ends understand not only the ability to rush the passer, but an understanding to make sure you're closing up your lanes and you're not over pursuing. And that's one of the things that Kayvon Thibodeau ran into issues with last year. It's one of the things that Brian Burns runs into issue. And like I said, we have 2 guys in Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns who have a propensity, and we went through the games, I don't know how many times, in regards to disappearing for extended period of times, not only in games, but for weeks. Kayvon Thibodeau's big season, he didn't have a sack, the last 6 weeks of the season? And then if you go through his sacks, they came in bunches. He had 2 in the Seattle game, which was in the beginning of the first half, and at the end of the game when the game was over. So, yeah, there's sacks. And then he couldn't close out the Jet game when we needed him the most. But if you're going to do that, you're going to need to have one hellacious linebacking core. You're going to have some speed guys, some guys with size that are going to understand how to maintain that second level. That's why I've said for a million times, Tyler Nubin, I don't want him as a safety. I don't. I want to take Tyler Nubin, and I want to make him a Logan Ryan, Peppers, quasi, in the box guy. Like Peppers and Logan Ryan did back in a couple years ago. They spent 75% of their time in the box. Kind of a quasi safety linebacker thing. That's what I want Tyler Nubin to be. Because everyone talks about the downfall of Banks. And yes, Banks dogged it at times. Yes, 100%. No one mentions the fact that Bobby Okereke, we pointed the plays out, stopped running a bunch of plays as well. But Banks dogged it. But I also think some of Banks' issues were the inability of the secondary, especially in the safety position. Pinnock to me was never that great. You all know my thoughts on Dane Belton. Dane Belton will get the interception, then be the trailer on 5 touchdowns in a row. Passing touchdowns in a row. I don't even know why he's still here. So Holland is going to help. And if you're going to generate that pass rush, we've said it before, if you have a hellacious pass rush, you can get away with issues in your secondary. Same regards if you have a quality secondary, you disguise and mask some of the defaults or the faults in your pass rush. It kind of goes vice versa. But the question is always going to be, if you are going to have this, if your identity is going to be an attacking style defense, do you have the pieces beyond the front 4? Because like I said, Kayvon Thibodeau was not a linebacker. I love the fact that people were showing me film of Abdul Carter dropping in the coverage in Penn State, and it was kind of scary. And in the one play, he looked to the left, he looked to the right, and the opponent threw the ball, and he got sacked as he threw it. But everyone's like, "Oh, did you see him look to the left, look to the right?" I said, "Yeah, I did see that, but I also didn't see him move anywhere from the middle of the field. He didn't make a decision where he wanted to go." But if you're going to have this attacking style defense, you need to have some hellacious linebackers behind you. Now, Bobby Okereke, he suffered from the year 2 Blake Martinez syndrome, as I like to call it. Blake Martinez, stellar first season. And then he kind of dropped off. And that's kind of see what Bobby Okereke did. And I hope Bobby Okereke turns around and makes that transition back over. And then you have McFadden behind him. And then I love McFadden because McFadden has issues making tackles as well. So the question is going to be, who are going to be your inside linebackers? I always go back to, again, the gift that keeps on giving. I always go back to Hard Knocks with the introduction meeting with Shane Bowen. And Shane Bowen was asked in that meeting, that team meeting, what do you need to make this team successful? I need 2 linebackers and a defensive end. And we've heard it before. What was it? What was the response? What about Brian Burns? Okay. But if you take a look at who is the Giants linebackers, truly, who are the Giants we have negated and neglected the linebackers for years, even going back to Jerry Reese. But who's going to play there? If you're going to play a true 3-4 or 4-3, who are going to be your 3 guys? Who is going to sit there and mop up the middle on this team? Are you expecting Board, who is a special teams player, to come out and be something special? How about, Tyler Summer? So Tyler Summers, let's go get Big Tyler in there. Bobby Okereke and McFadden, Dante Johnson. And then if you look at this team, who are your outside linebackers? You're probably going to try to rotate either Burns or Abdul Carter in the outside linebacker, the stand up 3-4 outside linebacker. But they're not Lawrence Taylor. They're not Carl Banks. Hell, right now, they're not Byron Hunt, Robbie Jones, or Andy Hedden. I'll give people time to Google that. Let's see what Petro says. Let's make our identity defense so when we play against the Eagles and we get the shit kicked out of us by Saquon and Hurts, Howie literally owns us, and I feel sick. I don't feel sick because Jalen Hurts, for all of his successes, you look, and like I said, the Eagles, people talk about the Eagles. I'm not calling the Eagles the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you've gone to 3 Super Bowls in 7 years and you won 2. And there's a reason. But for all the success of Jalen Hurts in his last 2 Super Bowls, he can be rattled by the rush. He can. Because of the fact that, I think anyone can. Look at Tom Brady. Go back to 2007, 2008. Look at Tom Brady. You can get rattled by the rush. I'm going to say it once again. Did a whole video on it. Steve Spagnuolo did not invent NASCAR. That was Perry Fuel. Steve Spagnuolo did rush 4, but Perry Fuel, first of all, they coined the term NASCAR during the 2010 season. I remember clearly in Albany them yelling NASCAR multitudes of times. And then when you have Matthias Kiwanuka, Jason Pierre-Paul, and then you have O.C. Umenyiora and Justin Tuck, you also have 4 defensive ends that can play the run. People forget that Tuck and Umenyiora had missed some time that season, and Pierre-Paul and Matthias Kiwanuka had over 80 tackles each at the defensive end position. And the majority of those tackles were, I would say at least 60% of those tackles, or almost 65% of those tackles, were solo, which when you listen to this show, what does a solo tackle mean? You're leading the point of attack. You are the one that's at the point of attack. You are the one making the tackle. So we don't have these 4 defensive ends that can play the run in a stellar way. Not like they did in 2010. But Jalen Hurts can be rattled. The only issue is we have a tendency to over pursue. We have a tendency at times, Kayvon Thibodeau does, getting out of position. And when you get out of position and you over pursue, bad things happen. I'm not going to say what bad things happen, but bad things happen. He only ran for like 23. Swift on that play. Just going to throw that out there. So you're going to have more of a commitment from these guys that they're going to understand, I got to play the run as well. So are they going to buy into the Shane Bowen philosophy? I don't know. How about the New York Knickerbockers? Boston sucks. Let's go Knicks. We were down by 20 in that third, going in that third. Down by 20. The wife comes downstairs and says, "Why are you?" And I'm down in the movie room. I got the projector screen down. I'm watching it in 200-inch glory. And she says, I love my wife because she comes in. Why? They're down by 20. Why are you watching this? I said, I'm watching this shit to the bitter end. I said, I don't care if they lose to 100. I'm going to be sitting here when that hits 0-0. And then they were down by 9 going into the fourth. And I was like, okay, all right. Then the build, then the momentum. Then there's that Nick frantic run. Then you got Bridges, who all of a sudden plays 51 out of a possible 55 minutes, does something. It's just one of those days. Greg says, what do we do with our subpar offensive line besides a rookie running back? Oh, yes, dangerous Jackson Dart O-line. Meh. No wide receiver, no tight end. Shane. I'm not seeing a lot. I'm not in love with the Theo Johnson thing. Not. What was it? Adrian Robinson years ago, who was the Adontis of tight ends. I thought Ty Warren was a better option to go after. The offensive line needs to gel. Bo, he's a guy that's he can play both tackle and guard, so you don't really want him to start right away because he's another undersized offensive tackle / guard, who does not hold up well against the point of attack on the run, but he is better at pass blocking. It's his versatility that's going to be an asset to this team, but I don't think we want to put him in right away. We are going to be susceptible to the pass rush. Russell Wilson is not the Russell Wilson from 7 years ago. Jameis Winston is still the Jameis Winston from 7 years ago. So I mean that hasn't changed any. Jackson Dart's just not ready. And I'm saying this early, even though we haven't even gone into any of the camps or anything. So I'm just throwing that out early. But we have to kind of wait. We have to kind of wait and see. And like I said, we're going to talk about the identity on the offense in a minute. We got to finish defense, but I want to get to everyone. OGR Spurs says, of course you should do it. OGR, I don't know how to make a poll.
That's what she said.
I don't know how to do a poll. So evidently, some people noticed that I wasn't invited to the Brain Trust party that Carl Banks and Bob Papa are having on, I think, Friday. So I guess some people posted some things that I should be there. And Carl Banks, I will say graciously, quasi invited me, which I thought was awesome. I thought that was very nice of him, because he didn't have to. Of course, we are both on the Believe Network, but he graciously did that. And I don't know. It's a Friday night. It's Friday night, 8:00. Well, we got to think about it. We'll do a poll maybe on the next video. James says, I hope the Giants have a better season than 2024. This team will make major changes in 2026. That looks like if we have a trash season. Mr. Taz says, sure, you should go. Whatever someone is footing the bill of free publicity anyways, always take it. I don't want publicity. I don't want to be successful. I am retired. I retired when I was 42. I just had a birthday. I'm in my mid-50s. I don't want to be successful. I was successful. That's why I retired. I'd rather just be the asshole on the microphone. Petro says, and maybe it's publicity for them. Do you ever think of that? It would be funny, though, because you know all you guys would show up. So I think that would be freaking awesome alone. Petro says, let's make our identity the pass rush. So when we play the Eagles and we already read that one. Herbologist, what's up, my brother? Every Giant 7-round pick will be the next Victor Cruz. Well, Victor Cruz was an undrafted free agent. So, yeah, but I actually saw that. I saw someone post, this will be like when we got Victor Cruz in the 7th round. And I know you're not saying that. It's Herbologist. I just saw that on Twitter. I'm like, he was an undrafted free agent at UMass. It's okay. Pedro says, do you think Mara is saying that the offseason was just a hoax, but he really wants to see Dable and Jones contracts to keep the continuity? Behold, that's so nice. Here's my thing. and I did a video about it. Does Jackson Dart give Dable and Shane their 5th season? Do they sit there and let's say they only win 4 games and they have a tough road, not only within our own division, not only at home, but just in general with the schedule? What if they win 4 games and they come out and say, well, Russell Wilson got hurt. We had to play the rookie. The rookie wasn't ready. Does Merrick give him year 5? Because we've already been told he's not going to be happy if we're at the same spot we are now than we were last year. He said he's not going to be happy. I don't know what that means. I'm not happy all the time. Nothing ever changes. Just kidding. I'm always happy. I don't know what that means. I really don't know. But does it? I think it does. Mr. Taz, from an Eagles fan who watched the 2023 season, then don't break defense is one of the most disappointing things to witness. Yeah, the bend not break defense is just I'm old school. I've been watching football. I've been watching Giants since '76. I was there in the Dallas debacle when they opened up the Meadowlands. I was there for the preseason Giant game when they opened up the new debacle of a stadium, because they didn't know who to give the opening game to, so they gave it to them. They gave the game to the preseason game for both teams. So, and the Giants' continuity was always attack. From what I remember, even going back to the '70s, even when they weren't good, it was attack, 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 attack. An attacking style defense. That's all it was. And this bend not break shit, and as an Eagle fan, you would know this. This bend not break shit it just doesn't work for me. And you have this talent. You have this. I've said this before. Abdul Carter was the right pick for the Giants at 3. Not in regard for best player available. For the team, I don't think it's the right pick. I personally would have traded down, gotten Tyler Warren, gotten a running ball, get that running back. Like I said before, before we went in this draft, I said everyone thought it was crazy. The Giants need a tight end and a running back. You need a complement back to Tyrone Tracy. Now you're going to have to hope that Tyrone Tracy does not fall into the sophomore slump. Teams now have film. Teams now understands their continuities and what they do. What he likes to do. He also is hopefully he's gotten over the fumbling issues. Cam Scatterboot, to me, like I said, is a 2-down back. He can catch the ball, but he is not going to be running through guys like he did at Arizona State. He's not going to. He doesn't have a second gear. He's about the same size as Eric Gray. Like I said, he is going to try to be that Brandon Jacobs bruising type back. He's just not going to go well with all NFL defenses. But he's going to be a good 2-down back, north-south runner, soften the offense, soften the defense, and then punch it through the line with Tyrone Tracy or run a jet sweep or something. So we'll have to wait and see. Behold, said the Giants God of YouTube, and his name is...
And
his name is Tim.
Of course, I like this one better, actually.
And his name is Tim.
That sounded better. Behold, overpaid the Giants linebackers are a new tradition. You want to be honest? Yes, you overpaid Bobby Okereke by about $5 million to be an off-the-ball linebacker for the Giants. The Chicago Bears, the 2 they picked up, kind of showed you that. But, it's market value, and sometimes you have to overpay on bad teams. Greg said, some delusional fans talk like stores, cooking like Howie. Man can't even boil water without burning the pot. Take a look at the first 2 drafts. First draft was a disaster. Literally, the first draft was a disaster. Second draft, not much better. Third draft, you got some players. But remember all the players that we brought in that last Super Bowl? Where were they in 2 years? On other teams. Players sometimes just have moments. We haven't had, but drafting a stud linebacker since I don't know when. When was the last time we drafted a stud linebacker? I'm hoping Abdul Carter. Call me old-fashioned. All right, you're old-fashioned. All right, Mr. Hurt says, I'm sorry, Elijah. Call me old-fashioned, but attacking defenses need hog mollies on the defensive line. The gorilla clogs up the middle, so the linebackers can wreak havoc, and the safeties clean up the get misses. Yes, and you have that with Dexter Lawrence. Can you run a traditional 4-3 with the components you have? No. Because you're going to have 2 undersized defensive end, Dexter Lawrence, and next to him and Alexander, another undersized defensive tackle. With 1 quality linebacker and 1 quasi linebacker. And I do say quasi linebacker and it's like, and not that I have a thing against McFadden. It's just he's not that great. He's not that good. I mean, he's an average NFL linebacker. We're used to stars. We're used to Sam Huff. We're used to the Crunch Bunch with Bradley Van Pelt and Brian Kelly and Harry Carson and Lawrence Taylor. We are literally used to have, and I always bring up the 86 defense. The 86 defense had 3 backup outside linebackers over 6'3", 250 pounds, who could have been the starter on multiple teams. And we've talked about it with Robbie Jones, Andy Hedden, and Byron Hunt. They could have been starters. But you had the misfortune of having, Banks, Carlson, Taylor, and Reasons sitting in front of you. You had that misfortune. Mr. Hurts says, Hurts is rattled by the rush mostly because they get through a stout offensive line protection. You're probably terrifying in there. They mostly come at night. Mostly. I missed that sound effect. Sarcasm, your best. The peacock. Where is it? I missed that sound back. I always love this one, of course.
Great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? We're some real pretty shit now, man.
But to his point, they mostly come at night.
We better get back, because it'll be dark soon, and they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Petro says, the problem with the regime is they don't accept their mistakes or pick up free agents. They keep thinking they have potential, whatever. When someone's that's not the case. We haven't even gotten into the Giants secondary. We haven't even gotten into Paulson Adebo, who you gave $54 million, 36 guaranteed, who is coming off of a pretty serious injury that a lot of people don't 100% come back from. And you have to hope that he's healthy. Backflip does not tell me you can do football moves. I love it. Greg from the, Greg on the channel tells me he can do a backflip. So let's do a backflip, Greg. See, that means he can play corner in the NFL. But he was this lockdown man-to-man press cover corner guy before he got hurt. Doesn't really fit in the Shane Bowen mold. Tay Banks does not fit in the Shane Bowen mode. The kid they picked up in the 7th round, he actually does. So I mean, and there are, it's weird. There are some NFL free agents right now that actually fit into the Shane Bowen defense, and they're still on the market. And that's what I kind of find funny, that you're kind of hoping that some of these guys would maybe find their way over to the Giants. I mean, is that too much to ask for? I mean, because I'd like to see that. So I mean, but we have to kind of just wait and see. Is he going to adjust to the secondary? And that's the question I always ask. Is Shane Bowen going to adjust to his talent? And you kind of hope that he is going to adjust to your talent, but I don't know. I literally can't tell you if he's going to figure out, okay, these are the guys I have. While they may not fit my system and how I like to play, going back to, going back all the way to the Titans, maybe I need to revamp what I do. And you got to kind of hope that's the direction that he is going to go. Is he going to do that? I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I wish I had this crystal ball that would allow me to get hell. Darnay Holmes isn't even available. He's with the Raiders. That I could literally just look into and say, yes, this is what we are going to do. This is what he needs to do. This is what we should do. Who knows with this team? And I'm actually looking to see. Is the guy that would make the most sense for the Giants available? And I do not is he available? Hold on. I'm looking something up. Everyone just be quiet a minute. I'm looking something up here. Let's see here. Is Asante, because Asante Samuels Jr. He fits the Shane Bowen style defense. He is that Adoree Jackson. No, he's still available. Asante Samuel Jr. is still available. Okay, see, that would make sense to me. If the Giants went out to go out and get Asante Samuel Jr., I would understand it. James Williams says, let's go next. Bodge says, Big Tim, hope you and family are doing well. We're doing good. Wait, I have to play the run, but I am a phantom quarterback chaser. Mr. Taz says the Giants were probably counting on Philly not to be picking up the fifth-year option on Jordan Davis to get him for the run and then have Howie pick up the fifth-year option. That went down the drain. I always thought they were going to pick up the fifth-year option on him. Massey says the Giants have extremely tough schedule. Can't see 7 wins. Mara will see this as a rebuild season. That's the question. Does he? Because Mara already came out and said, I don't know if I want to, have to deal with this shit again. We've said this before, the giant way to do things, the giant way that's been the last couple of years, going back to Jerry Reese. And we're on this path. You fire a position coach. First, you fire a position coach. You tell Mark Colombo, whomever, get the hell out of here. That doesn't work. So then you fire a coordinator. Fire a defensive coordinator. You find an offensive coordinator. Get the fuck out of here. Then that doesn't work. Then you fire the head coach. Not looking at you, Judge. Then you fire the general manager. So I'm thinking if anything happens and Dable does not turn into be the offensive boy wonder, because we haven't seen that in 3 years, and the Giants are still stagnant, I have a feeling that he's going to be gone and Shane's still going to be here. Mark says we got it. What are we going to do when Andrew Thomas misses half the season again? Cry. Andrew Thomas is an issue. Not on the field. It's when it's keeping him on the field. That's the issue. And when he's on the field, he is one of the best left tackles in the NFL, 100%. But he's not on the field a lot. And that's the issue recently. So the question's going to be, the problem is this, and we talked about it before, when Shane was giving out contracts like candy, he didn't stagger the Lawrence Thomas contract, so they're going to mature together. So I mean, we're not going to get into that though. There'll have to be a discussion if he continues to get hurt. No sane owner would give those another contract if he win 3-4 games. But then again, we're talking about John Mara. Well, the problem is they got a 5th year. This is only year 4. This is year 4. Someone was texting me because, like I said, I was texting people yesterday, and I was telling the Knicks in 6, and then at 10 o'clock last night, I'm texting people Knicks in 4, and I'm looking at them. A lot of people are agreeing with me. Jaden Drone says the word is that Scatterboo can catch. Cam Scatterboo can catch the ball, 100%. He can catch the ball. The problem is so can Wan'Dale Robinson. What's the yak of Wan'Dale Robinson? Said this when we drafted Robinson. He got repeatedly pulled down from behind at Kentucky. If that happens, that's not going to translate in the NFL. Cam Scatterboo didn't run at the combine. Cam Scatterboo did not run at his pro day. Scatterboo only ran at private workouts. He ran a 4.6 and a 4.7. There's not going to be much yak when the Scatterboo gets the ball. Now, there is, like we said before, there is football speed and there's game speed. Jerry Rice, they say you could time with a sundial, which is why he went down the 49ers. But when you got him on the pads and he ran it, he could outrun anybody. Eric Dickerson. We talked about that. Eric Dickerson at one point in time ran like a 4.2. But he was this big back that everyone thought he wasn't fast. And people say, well, he's deceptively fast. No, he ran a 4.2. And I loved it because at 50 years old, we talked about this on Sunday. At 50 years old, he ran a 4.46. How crazy is that? So there is game speed and there's speed. And like I said, Cam Scatterboo is a 4.6, 4.7 guy, speed-wise. He's going to have to use his bruising running style to actually he's Wayne Gallman. Said this before. Go back to the Seattle game that we won, which we all thought was the Carter Coughlin coming out party, when Gallman got dragged down from behind. It's because he doesn't have a second gear. Cam doesn't have a second gear. He is going to have to get his tough yards between the tackles and hopefully burst through the line. Can't believe Cooper Copeland went over Warren. Yeah, I know. That was kind of surprising. We need ASP. We need ASAP, a Tomlinson back, period. I agree. I always hate this. I always hate the cliche. Or it's the, you need someone in that does the little things that don't show up on the stat sheet. I always hated that cliche. But that's what you need. You need a Dalvin Tomlinson. You need a Joseph. You need a Hankins, Jonathan Hankins, who's still playing. You need a Hankins. You need somebody that can literally do the things that's going to take the pressure off of Dexter Lawrence. Maybe not, probably not. Here's the thing. If you have someone that is in the interior that's going to help take some pressure off to Dexter Lawrence, maybe you get one-on-one matchups on the outside. Now, the question is going to be, is Kayvon Thibodeaux going to cut his rush wide like he does every time? And then once in a while, he figures out, hey, listen, if I cut it wide and I'm being pushed to the sideline, I could just cut back in. I could do a little swim move and cut back in on the inside. Or is Brian Burns going to be that 8-sack guy? I didn't say it. I've said it before. I did not say this. The NFL Network said this when we got Brian Burns and we signed him. Same thing I said. Good guy, good pass rusher, didn't overpay, but you gave him $120 million for an 8-sack guy. And I apologized because I said the same thing, and he turned out he got 8.5 sacks. Massey says, Tim, can you give a quick summary of the improvements Dable has given the Giants over Joe Judge? If you can rate each coach and score it out of 10. Joe Judge was a 2. 2 out of 10. No one's going to remember this guy, but I remember him from the Minnesota Vikings. He took over for Bud Grant. Les Steckel, son of a former Marine, came in after the legendary Bud Grant retired in, I think, in 84. And he took over the Minnesota Vikings, and he tried to institute this tough training regimen, almost military-esque. He was this hard-nosed player, hard-nosed guy. Didn't work out. Flamed out. Was fired at the end of the season. That reminded me of Joe Judge, except Joe Judge lasted 2 years. And I always go back to the photo of Joe Judge doing the ball drill in the dirt, in the mud. Does anyone remember that photo? He's going out. He wanted to. This is after he's been an asshole for the entire training camp, and he wants to show that he's one of the guys. I did a whole video on. He wants to show I'm one of the guys. I'm Joe Judge. I'm one of the guys. I'm going to show this. I'm going to do the loose ball drill in the mud. And I pointed it out, which is funny because then Dalvin Tomlinson was gone the next year. So his first year, Joe Judge. I pointed out that if you watched Joe Judge going after the ball, Dalvin Tomlinson is there squirting Joe Judge. Not the ball, not the ground. He's squirting Joe Judge in the face. If there was not more of a Freudian moment on that Giant team, and I even said to people right then and there, I said, Joe Judge does not have this team after seeing that. Because being a former player, I can tell you when something like that happens, that's not good. Eric, no. Dorsey, two strongest men. Eric, no. Nick Dorsey, two strongest man in the NFL. Eric Dorsey was a strong guy in the NFL. Big guy. A good soundbite for the show would be the scene for Reservoir Dogs. Mr. Brown is dead, and we don't know where the fuck Mr. Blue is. Okay, I could do that. Fun fact, Bill Paxton was channeling his inner black man from his role in Aliens. Charlie, what's up, Charlie? Hey, Tim, what do you give the overall offseason grade? Did Shane do good? I gave the draft a B+. And I was told I was negative. And we literally did an entire draft breakdown. And we I have the draft chart right here. And I did it vis-a-vis pivot table on a spreadsheet, and I rated it via draft position of value, overall talent, team needs, fit the scheme, and immediate impact with a total grade. Now, each column, A, B, C, D, and E, and F, all had pivot tables behind it with additional grades, which gave us the grades from from 100 to 0. 100 to 88 being an impact player starter, 54 to 0 being on the Home Depot team. And I actually gave the Abdul Carter grade an 89. which would put him as a starter impact player. I gave the Jackson Dart pick a 66, which is backup project. I gave Darius Alexander a 79.3, which is just below the cusp of potential starter. I gave Cam Scadaboo 78.86, which is also just on the cusp of a potential starter, but a contributor. I gave Marcus Bowe a 72.5, which is a non-starter but contributor. And I gave the tight end, and I gave Thomas, the tight end, a 61, and Corey Black a 48.4. So I gave it a solid B+. I mean, I think, like I said, the Abdul Carter pick makes sense at 3 if you're not trading out. Jackson Dart, to me, does not make sense trading back up into 25. But Alexander, Scadaboo, and Bowe all could potentially be contributors, if not borderline starters. If you take a look at the offseason, Giants spent a lot of time day 1 and day 2 getting backups, getting roster filler guys that I think could have been had day 4, 5, and 6. Paulson Adebo, if you gave him 54-36 guaranteed, most in the league didn't even have him on their boards. There's their corner boards because of the injury. And most people thought that it would be a 2-year, $20 million deal, 10 years, $10 million guaranteed first year, second year player option out. We bucked the market and gave him 54-36. So I don't know. You also picked up a bunch of offensive linemen that have a lot of issues. I like the Holland. Holland had an off season in Miami, but Miami is somewhat of a dysfunctional team, I think. So we had that, I think he's going to fit better than Pinnock. Who's going to be the running mate? I don't know yet. But, for Adebo is a C+ to an A. Because I don't know. I have no freaking clue what he's going to be yet because he's still hurt. And that's like Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter didn't work out for anybody because he still has an issue with the shoulder and a foot. I think the Holland was a solid hit. I think that was a solid A. I think that's a solid A because it's an upgrade into your secondary. But everyone else is kind of second level guys. You signed Board day 1. You signed a special teams linebacker day 1. You signed offensive linemen who can't block, who can proficiently do one thing, either block the run over the pass, not both. That's why you went out and drafted a guy that can be a swing tackle, swing guard. So if Paulson Adebo pans out, you got to give it a solid B. If Paulson Adebo doesn't pan out, you got to give it a C. And like I said, you got to give the draft right now a B+ because I don't understand basically drafting the same guy when you have 2 identical players on the roster who are almost identical sizes. So we wasted so you're telling me 3 years ago we wasted the 5th pick on Kayvon Thibodeau, and last year we wasted assets and gave him $120 million on Brian Burns so we can go get Abdul Carter and redraft the position. Said it before. I didn't understand it at the time what happened, but I understand, and it wasn't until after the draft that the light bulb went off on my head. I was like, bing! It's like, okay, I get this. You drafted Wan'Dale Robinson as redundancy to Kadarius Toney. And then I sat there and said, oh shit, that's what we did. But you can't keep redrafting your mistakes to fix your mistakes. Pretty sure our OC doesn't even exist at this point in time. He's a figment of our imagination. Oh, Mike Kafka? I've said this before. Mike Kafka, don't knock him, man. He's the best coffee getter in the NFL. 2 blacks, no sugar. Or no, I should say no sugar. 2 black coffees, no sugar. 1 black coffee cream. Lord knows what Mike Kafka's doing. The Scadaboo! I like Cam Scadaboo. I keep saying I like Cam Scadaboo. I like the bruising style running back. I like the thunder and lightning. I like that type of style of run use. I'm old school. I said it before. You soften up the defense. Plowing headfirst in the line, 2, 3, 4 yards at a pop. Then you go big. You lull the defense into a sense of self-security that you are going to run the ball. You can't get any balls. You have them put 8, 9 in the box because they think you're going to run. Play action. Start scouting prospects now. Going to be another bad one, folks. It's still early, Greg. Come on. Giants are 3-14, yeah, maybe. Off Broadway. Big Ten, what's up? G-Man family, holla! James Williams says, Greg made a great point when the Wilson and Scat. What do we do? What do you do to upgrade the offense? We still need a second wide receiver. I'm not sold on Darius. I've been here 5 years. Slayton. I'm not against it, but you gave him 36 mil. Let's see here. Calling back Briggs and Stones on in the back. That one says yes. No, that wasn't me. Sorry, that wasn't me. Sorry, that wasn't me. Well, hold on. I'm replying to people on Twitter. Sorry, that wasn't me. Sorry, that wasn't me. Pat's still around. I love to start shit. You know it's funny. I guess you can tell by the hair. You know what's funny? I always think it's funny. I wish I was. It's one of those things that if you were, if I was a small person, I probably couldn't get away with half the shit that I get away with. This team should be watchable in 2035. I hope Scalaboo is not the Eric Gray slow. Eric Gray, when we drafted him, I told you watch his burst through the line, and there was no burst. And I've said it before. We've shown it a bazillion quadrillion times. There's me and the Gray Ghost. Okay, which one's the NFL running back and which one's the 50-year-old white guy? And I said when we drafted him, I don't see the burst. Now see the Scattaboo, he's like a caribou. Look at this. I'm gonna get into my I don't know. Cam has a nice initial burst, which I think is going to propel him, and he understands running with purpose. He understands he doesn't run. One of the things I like about Cam is he doesn't run high. He's not one of these guys that runs high. He runs with purpose. He runs with his shoulders square and down, and he goes straight. That's what he does. Plain and simple. Eric Gray doesn't do that. Eric Gray can catch the ball out of the backfield, but Eric Gray's not going to give you much of a yak. Eric Gray knows how to fumble on the kickoffs, but Cam Scattaboo is not Eric Gray. Cam Scattaboo can go through the line, can get through that initial burst, can show you that, and sometimes that initial burst will help propel you. I've said this before. He's like my old 76 Oldsmobile. That sucker going downhill, man, once you got it rolling, it was rolling. You couldn't stop it. And initially, when I got off the line, it looked good. And then you went into second gear. Then it didn't look good at all. So they're two different running backs in the totality of the scheme of the NFL. I think Cam's going to be fine. I just don't think Cam is going to give you much once he gets into that second level, because you are not going to be going against smaller, undersized linebackers that you did in college. So it's going to be interesting. Definitely a PR stunt. What's definitely a PR stunt? I don't know. Do you think that Marin Tisch should sell 10% of the team to Eli and Strahan? Even if they do it, I don't see anything coming from it but the publicity move and purely ceremonial. Oh, not ceremonial. They want like $600 million for 10% of the team. I paid $120 to be. I am an NFL owner. For those that do not know this, I am an NFL owner. I own 4 shares of Green Bay Packers stock. Now, and they actually have shareholder meetings. Now, does it mean anything? Oh, fuck, doesn't mean shit. That means I spent $300 on a piece of paper that says I own part of the Green Bay Packers. You're going to get 10% of the team. Majority control is still going to be between Mara and Tisch, and you're basically going to just be like saying, yeah, I own part of this team. Let's give them something to talk about. You ever have one of those days? You ever have one of those days, guys, that you just kind of look at it and just be like, whatever. I'm having one of those days. I got a carburetor issue that I got to work on. I got another podcast I have to do. If you don't know, and it'll be coming up, new sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University, who now has a sports management program. We got a sponsor or partner video coming up for these guys this week. Southern New Hampshire University. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. You can tell I'm excited. You tell I'm excited. Also, we can be found everywhere on the Believe Network. I believe I can fly. Let's see here. Definitely a PR stunt. Giants haven't had a good PR since the Odell Beckham one-handed catch. Mr. Taz says, Joe Shane to the Giants and Joe Banner was to the Eagles. Your Howie Roseman camp would probably be the same guy on Hard Knocks who said literally anyone with cap space would pay Saquon Barkley. That was one of the greatest lines ever on Hard Knocks. When Joe Shane literally said, "Well, who's gonna sign Saquon Barkley?" That guy came out and said, "Anyone with cap space who wants a dynamic running back." It was almost like, "Oh, you're getting fired." It's one of those moments. I always jokingly tell people, "I'm going to go back to corporate America. I'm going to go back to work in corporate America," and I always love people because they're always like, "Tim, you couldn't because." Half the shit you used to say in the early 2000s and 90s, you can't say now. So you would probably be fired within the first 7 days. And I love it because I thought about that when that guy said anyone with cap space. I'm like, well, you're getting shit canned. He didn't, though. He was right, though, too. Thank you, Mr. Taz. Oh, everyone's like, Mr. Taz. Kevin says, I can't wait until Scooby-Doo and the gang rip off DJ's master reveal. It was DJ this whole time. Oh my God. It literally took Howie's grandfather pointing out he was overthinking his fix and not picking from the SEC to fix shit. T Broad in his house. All Broadway 10. I want you and Eric Gray and Cam Scooter to line up for a foot race. What do you say? I'm hoping I get invited to the rookie symposium this year. Because I would love to meet Cam Scatterbo. I would love to stand next to Cam Scatterbo and compare.
That's what she said.
Because I love it. Because and then if you know what's funny, we also met who else was there? We met Banks. So there's me and Banks. Banks is like I said, he was actually standing on stage. But like again, like I said, Banks to me looked like an undersized corner, but it turned out he wasn't. Because again, I was the only person that I wasn't bigger than was, of course, who we said was JMS, who I said looked like Bart Oates. So that was fun. That was a fun day. So hopefully I get invited. I hope I get invited to that. Maybe this team will lead the league in time spent on the injury reserve again. Oh, bro, I say, dang, Tim, you're an NFL owner. Let me get $1. No, I'm a Green Bay Packer owner, which means I would have just as much authority as Eli Manning and Michael Strahan. Why did the Giants pick up the wide receiver in the draft? Darius Slayton's legit number 2, and for the life of me, Wanda Robinson is to the UFL already. John Madden, he's dead. John Gruden is back in football. He's now part of the AFL, which is the new Arena Football League. Which I loved Arena Football. I worked for a couple of years for the Orlando Predators and the Philadelphia Soul. I have the it's over there. Hold on, let me see. Oh, it's the professionalism. No, that's a Dallas Cowboy helmet. That's a Dallas Cowboy helmet. If you go over here, and I don't think you can see it. I don't know. There, right there. That above the corner there, right there, that is the anniversary helmet for the Philadelphia Soul, given to me by John Bon Jovi. There's not many of those helmets. That's the anniversary. I think it was the 25th anniversary helmet for the Philadelphia Soul, given to me by Mr. John Bon Jovi. I loved it because Ron Jaworski was part of the team at one point in time too, the Philadelphia Eagles. I used to play at Ron Jaworski's golf course up near Freehold, New Jersey. I've met Ron Jaworski, the Polish Rifle, a couple times. But I was at an event, and I got the helmet at the event, and so there was someone there that was like, "Well, I want that helmet," and they had an autographed helmet from Ron Jaworski, an autographed Philadelphia Soul helmet, and he's like, "Here, I'll trade you. Look, this is an autographed helmet from Jaws." And I was like, "Great." I said, "This one was given to me by John Bon Jovi." That doesn't really impress me, but I didn't trade with him because I thought the guy was kind of a dickhead. Let's see. Sorry, y'all. I chose war today. Let's see here. Timmy! Mr. Alvarez says, "Hey, Tim, on a semi-related note, the draft, were there any undrafted free agents you liked? I know you probably won't make the roster, but at least I think one could make the roster." I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really follow the undrafted free agents, to be honest. Pedro says, "Jaws lives right across the street from my parents. I met him. Super nice." Oh, Jaws, Ron Jaworski's a nice guy. I mean, Ron Jaworski I've met a lot of Eagle players because I live near Philadelphia. So I've met a lot of Eagle players, past and present. And I go to Eagle games sometimes because my friends got VIP seats there. And I will tell you, I'm going to give you who is my favorite Eagle player to meet was Ron Jaworski, because he is the nicest guy in the fucking world. Him and Randall Cunningham were nicest guys in the world. I probably met Ron Jaworski like 4 or 5 times. Now, the one Eagle player that I think is a dick, former player, is Vince Papale. Because Vince Papale has no sense of humor. He is one of the greeters in the suite level area at Lincoln Financial Field. So I would say, I think we went to like 3 Eagle games in a row, because also my wife's job at the time had corporate box seats, corporate suite. So we would go to the Eagle games. So he's always there. So I took pictures of him a couple times. And then he got mad at me. Believe it or not, Vince Papale got mad at me because I kept calling him Rudy. I thought it was funny. I would go to my wife, "Hey, take a picture with Rudy." No, Vince Papale, no sense of humor. Or I'm just a dick. Let's see. Off Broadway, says James with a big old smile. Let's give him something to talk about. Let's see here. We got anything else going on today? Anything else going on? What's going on? What's going on here? Let's see. Realist, me, I dare you. What? Realist, me, I dare you. What? What is, I don't, guys, okay, listen, what's going on with this Carl Banks thing here? It's none of the people. I don't know. People, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh, I love Coach TJ. He's got the popcorn, and he's got me replying to Carl Banks. He's like, "Oh, we got the popcorn going on." Let's see here. Why? I don't know. Why are these people responding to shit that I don't know? I don't know. Can people just leave me alone? I want to be left alone. I got nowhere else to go. I always love that one. Yeah, what is that? I gotta get that one. I gotta get that clip from An Officer and a Gentleman at the end, because he goes, "Because I got nowhere else to go." All right, I'm gonna leave it up. I'm gonna leave it. I don't have a thing to do a poll, because I don't know how to fucking do a poll. So evidently, I don't know if OGR Sports started this, but somehow Carl Banks is, I guess, I'm welcome to, I don't understand this. I have to I got to figure out how to read the whole thing. And Carl Banks says, "This is you interpreted this invitation. Online Big Blue is absolutely welcome to join the discussion. My only request that everyone rewatch the Colts game." I was there. "We're exploring the possibilities of New York Giants offense with new tools." So it's at 8 o'clock on a Friday. Friday night, just got paid. I'm usually busy at 8 o'clock on a Friday. I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Should I do it? Should I respond and say, I would love to attend this thing? I would love to attend. Or should I just be me? I gotta be me. Or should I just be me and just not go? Be the albatross. Be the outsider. I'm going to let you guys decide. I'll just sit here quietly as you talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to invite OGR. Are you still out there? Or anyone out there? I'm going to invite people on. People, you can. I think OGR started this. Here we go. I'm putting it. If anyone's around, I got a couple minutes. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Jabari Bruce says, yes, respond. Hit the pessimistic button. Oh, I like that. I like that. Hit the pessimistic button. Yep, I got that, Craig. I don't know which button is that. Put a poll on the other platform, cough, cough. Now, I can't say the other platform because then they knock down. I wouldn't, brother, to be honest. Why, Robert? Robert, I'm curious. Why shouldn't I go? I don't even know who's on. I don't even know who's doing it. Who's doing this? Does anyone know? How do I go back and find out who's doing this? What do I do? Does anyone know how to do this? Oh, God, I wish to God I could figure out fucking Twitter half the time. I don't understand this because you click on the thing, but it doesn't scroll up. What is this? Hold on. All right, Robert, what's your reasoning, Robert? Wait, Jabari Bruce says, wait, Tim, you don't do anything for free. Get the bag if you do. I do everything for free. I'm talking about. I always do shit for free. I give away my super chats. I give away the money to the channel. That's the point. Who is involved? What is the purpose? Okay. I don't know. Aztrack says, go, do it. Okay. I don't know what the purpose is. I was hoping OGR was around. I put the link in the chat. So I was hoping. So let me see. The purpose of is this. I don't know. How do I find OGR? How do I find the purpose? The Giants scored over 20 points. The misinterpretation of the invitation. I don't know where this invitation is. Was I on an invitation and not on an invitation? Mark your calendar. Okay, here we go. We found it. Hold on. You know what? Oh, this is going to be interesting. Hold on. Can I do this? Hold on. I got to do this. Let me do this and let me do this. Look, it's professionalism at its finest, guys. I found it. I found the invitation. Okay, now we're going to import this one selected. And then we're going to do this. Look at this. I am, ever since we joined the Believe Network, I am professionalism persona non grata. Here we go. All right, I'm going to do this. This should be, I should just do it because I'm an asshole. Assholes and elbows. Another great line from Aliens. Okay, I found it. Okay, here we go, guys. So this will give everyone a better understanding whether we should do it or not. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go to media assets. Which media asset should we take out? We'll take out this one because I don't even know what it is. Okay, here we go. I found what the invitation is. All right, we ready for this? Here we go. There's Cam Scattaboo. Hi, Cam Scattaboo. Me and Cam are going to be best friends, I can tell. All right, here we go. So this is what it is from what I'm understanding. Mark your calendars. This will be a great conversation among great giant minds. So I definitely don't know why the fuck I'm going to be invited. So here we go, guys. Here are the people that are invited so far. Mr. Authentic, the entertainer, and more. I mean, Bob Papa. First of all, Bob Papa hates me because he thinks I'm somebody else, and we know the rest. Ask me. Evidently, there's something that Carl Banks and Bob Papa are doing on Twitter, and they invited some giant content creators, and some people posted, I guess, to Carl Banks that I should be involved. And Carl Banks said yes, he should be involved, and then he sent a link thingy, or right where you could see it. I don't know what that's called, saying you should, yes, he should come on. So I'm sitting there looking, and I don't know who else is going to be on. But let's see here. I just thought it was pretty nice that he invited me on. I think that's pretty nice of Carl Banks. Oh, wait a minute. Since the off-scene explained, let's do something fun. It says entertainer Bobby Skinner, Dan Schneider, authentic, and anyone serious. I'm not serious. It's a trap. It's a trap. Is that what it is? It's a trap.
It's a trap.
So it's a trap. Chris sold out. You gotta go. Sounds fugazi to me. This order to be good for all you guys. It's a trap. You should go wearing your Saquon Barkley jersey. Robert says Carl and Bob are just gonna shit on anyone who has slightly negative opinion of the organization. Well, that's shit that I gotta go. What is Logic's fine? It says so a room full blind hope fans that are objective morons. On second thought, maybe not. The Giants are lining up for their mouthpieces. It's funny though. I found why this, I guess, got started. Because someone wrote to Carl Banks on the Twitter doohickey thing. I'm a bobber. So many homers, Carl Banks. You need the most realistic Giants content creator in online Big Blue One. Plus, nice tie-in since you're both on the Believe network. Then OGR followed up with that's a good collab, but you should always do one with the newest member of the Believe network. And this person wrote, if they did that, I'd watch some highlights. What did this person write? This person, I love the misinterpretation. Then that's when it was written. You misinterpreted the invitation. I don't understand what that meant. I didn't misinterpret. Oh, he's not talking to me. Okay. All right. That's what that means. When you have the ampersand, that's what that means. Online Blue Blue is absolutely welcome to join the discussion. My only request is everyone rewatch the Colts game. We're exploring the possibilities of the Giants offense and new tools. Okay, so and then Coach TC shows a picture of a guy sitting there with popcorn and eating popcorn. If I literally took time, I could figure out Twitter. Well, I got a carburetor fix. I don't think Carl cleared it with Bob first. Bob Papa story real quick. It's after the Daniel Jones 3,000 yards 15 touchdown season. We're at the Giant Town Hall on Broadway in New York. And you get to ask questions. So everyone's asking questions to Kayvon Thibodeau. And everyone's asking questions. And I go up to James Williams, who abandoned me. And here you go. This was part of the panel that first show. You got Bob Papa, you got what's his name? Sean O'Hara, you got Dable, you got Shane, you got, and you got our old friend Mara. So I go there and I want to ask a question. Now, James Williams goes in front of me. So I'm going to ask a question to Daniel Jones. But I already know if I tell the moderator, I got to ask a question to Daniel Jones, then they're not going to let me do it. So I go up there and lie and say I'm going to give a Kayvon Thibodeau question. So I get my shot. I was like second to last guy. So I told everyone who I was because I wasn't going to lie. And I asked a question. No, I knew I was right. What happened? So I asked a question. And I said to Daniel Jones, and I was very nice about it. I said, you know what? People say you had this successful season, blah, 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 blah. What are you going to do to reinsure that you're going to be that way in the next year? So evidently, I've shown the video before. He's rocking back and forth. He's holding his stomach. And I kept telling people right then and there, I knew this was going to be a failure, this contract. So Bob Papa goes to me, "Who are you?" And I told him who I was, and he goes, "What's your handle on Twitter?" I had to think about it for a minute, 'cause I don't really know. So I said, "Online Big Blue 1." He goes, "Oh, I know who you are. I've gotten into it with you before on Twitter. You're one of those." And this is in front. Now I'm getting booed. And not many people can say they got booed on Broadway. I can. Because of this question that I asked, which I thought was just a nice question. Was just an honest question. It was nothing bad. So I'm getting booed. I got Bob Papa telling me I'm someone else. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even follow you on Twitter. I can't even make fucking Twitter work half the time. So he's telling me I'm someone else and that I'm getting into him on Twitter. I'm like, Bob, I don't even follow you on Twitter. So the next year, where I'm in the giant offices in outside of MetLife, and we're at the rookie symposium, and there's Bob Papa. So you know me. I yell, "Hey, Bob!" Did everything but give me the finger. Bob, I'm not who you think I am. I'm just letting you know. And so I don't know. So is the indication is I should just do it? I got to read these text messages real quick. Hold on. You know what's funny? I got an older Harley that I'm working on, and the carburetor's for shit, and I'm trying to rebuild the carburetor, but I can't find something I need for it, and this person has it, and they're being stupid. And I'm letting him know he's being stupid. All right, so what do we got here? So that's why Bob Papa thinks I'm someone else. I don't think it cleared with Bob. So go. We need a force to counteract the entertainer. You'll be outnumbered, Tim, but give them one of the medicine they need to stop brown nosing the organization. I'm never outnumbered. I always tell the story that years ago, we're in a strip club in Pensacola. And I go to the bathroom, and my friend Tom is Tom's a slight build guy. Told this story before. He's very slight build, but he's got a big mouth. So I come back to the bathroom. He's surrounded by 3 guys. And Tom's not a fighter. He'll tell you he's not a fighter. And I love it because I get back to the bar, and this one guy's mouthing off, and he's like, "You're outnumbered." And I looked at the guy, and I said, "There's only 3 of you. You need like 2 more guys." And I laughed because even Tom was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Long story short, we walked out just fine. I always laughed though because it was the funniest thing ever, because the first guy swung and missed and basically hit his head on the bar. And I hit one guy, and then the other guy basically just tripped over himself, and the bouncers came and took us out. And the bouncer was like, "You were like an action hero." I said, "No, I wasn't." I said, "Those 2 fuckers fell down." So we're never outnumbered. Peter, I'm never outnumbered because you guys will show up. Oh yeah, don't go. The Bravo says the organization don't like anyone who refuses to drink the Kool-Aid. Anyone be ignorant and positive about everything going on is Giants land. Well, maybe that's why they need me. Book this man. He's telling the truth. I was booed on Broadway by Giant fans. This has gotten you written all over it. Making friends wherever you go, Tim. Yeah, I always do. I'm making friends. I am such a nice guy. You know what's amazing? I meet people at the stadium, and I always laugh because when people come up to me, I always get nervous because you don't know what the reaction's going to be. So I always get a little nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm not scared. I'm nervous that I'm going to get in. I park in the same spot. I tell people all the time, I park at F8. I literally park under the F8 sign. You can't miss me. And I always get a little nervous when people come running up to me because I'm always like, what are we doing here, guys? But then it always turns out everyone's real nice, and everyone always finishes it the same way. You are such a nice guy. Well, yeah, but I'm the same guy that I'm on the mic. You should definitely do it, says Protect and Serve. Zacatech says, do you think the Giants will ever be good again? San Francisco Giants? Or are they now someplace else? Yes, of course they're going to be good. Peter says, got to get a kick out of these Zoom calls within 5 minutes and say, Tim lost connection. We're trying to get him back. I don't think it's a Zoom call. I think it's a Twitter space. Is it a Twitter space? Someone go on Twitter and tell me. Hello, online. I mistook you for another giant content. It's unfair that it wasn't me at all. I hope you have a great conversation with Carl Banks. I owe you an apology. I mistook you for another giant content creator. It's unfair. It was unfair, and that wasn't all right of me. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know who you are. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No worries. No worries. No harm. No harm. But thank you for thank you. All right, I got to respond to this person because evidently someone said something bad about me on Twitter and it wasn't me. Thank you for reaching out. Reaching out. No worries. Mistakes happen. Look at this. How nice of a guy I am. I'm responding to people. I'm working. All right. No worries. No big deal. No big deal. All right, Mr. I don't know who this is. Mellowick. I don't know Mellowick. He's a giant podcaster and a space host and a radio personality. I don't know who you are. I don't follow you. Why are you upset? Why is Mellowick upset with me? Oh, sorry. I don't know. No worries. No worries. I'm going to invite Mellowick on the show. Say, what a nice guy I am. I see you. You should come on. Looked at your profile. You write that? I looked. Everyone, just amuse yourselves for a minute. I see you. I see you are a giant content guy. You should come on the show. There we go. Look at me making friends. I don't need any more friends. Logic's Fine says Mara will give anyone in attendance a free large Diet Coke worth the trip. Big Tim. I think it's a Twitter space. I don't know. Smash that. Oh, yeah. Hit the like button, guys. What do you say? Michael Strand Giant preparing to get beat Bears with Giants. A minority by mistake. I think I'm going to jump on that. The Battle of Normandy, but giant Twitter version. All right. So we're going to make this easy. There's 100 and something people following real quick. We're going to make this easy because I got to get out of here. Okay. We're going to do it. We're going to do this poll. We're going to do a poll. Type 1 if I should do it. Type 2 if I shouldn't do it. Now, those are asking, should I join this live stream thingamabobber that Carl Banks and Bob Popper are doing, which I just got invited to? If I should do it, push 1. If I should not do it, push 2. If I should eat that brown thing that's still in the refrigerator from a week ago, push 3. And if I am incredibly sexy, you need to go and find a different chat. All right. So here's a choice.
She said.
That's a choice, guy. We are going to go. I'd say push 1 if I should do it. Push 2 if I shouldn't do it. Push 3 if I should eat the brown roast-like substance that's been in the refrigerator for 2 weeks for lunch because I'm hungry and the wife went to work. So right now it looks like the ones are having. Petra, this is gonna be good so poorly for them. I'm crying. Maybe I'll have someone on my side. What if I had someone on my side? How awesome would that be? 3 and 4 options. Robert says 3. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're almost done. You have 1 more minute. This is the poll for people that do not know. I was asked if I wanted to consider coming on with Carl Banks, Bob Papa, Chris the Entertainer, the Authentic. I don't know who else, and some other people. Push 1 if I should go. Push 2 if I shouldn't go. And push 3 if I should eat the brown roast-like substance that's been in the refrigerator since last week. Because I don't think there's anything else in the refrigerator. So, okay. So, let's see here. Ask Carl Banks what game on Devo does well. Oh, jeez. No, this is about some other thing. Okay, so it looks like we have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, we got 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 3. Some will make us some free. Protects is 1. Logic's Finest is 3 and 4. Robert says 3, so I should eat the roast. Michael is 1. Ask Carl Banks and Tim. Definitely do the 3. The truth hurts. After this, Tim can join the Super Friends group. Yeah, no. This would Petro's act. This will literally spark a war. Oh, this is Battle of Iwo Jima, Part 2. I don't know, guys. I don't know. All right, so make sure you hit the like button. We got a ton of people following that on that other thing, and only 50 something in the YouTube space. But that's okay. I don't care. Can we get to 40 likes though, at least? I am 1 and have a lawyer on standby. We always have bail readily available in this house. It's pretty bad that we actually have our own bail bondsman. So that's Greg's okay. So all right, so the question is, should we why we're all here taking the cult mainstream? See, but here's the thing. I will do it. I will offer to do it. But if I do that, wear a paper bag on your head while you're online. Over under Jack start playing by Thanksgiving. I say he probably will play by Thanksgiving. I will do this. I will do this. But this is what I'm going to ask of you guys. You guys got to show up. You guys have to show up. If you guys say you're going to show up, then I will do it. What are we thinking? Is that a deal? You guys show up and I will do it. Because I want to have that Russell Wilson. I want to have that Russell Crowe moment in not in Gladiator, and when he did the Noah's Ark movie.
There isn't anything for you here. I have men at my back, and you stand alone and defy me. I'm not alone.
That's my thing. You guys show up. I have no fucking clue. I will respond to Carl Banks right now. Because I don't know where it's at. Hold on. Where it's at, I do not know. I love this one. Oh my God, I love this one. I will respond to Carl Banks right now. I don't know. How do I respond? Do I have to respond off the original post? Does that what I respond about? Or do I respond off of this post? How do I respond to this, guys? What do I do? There's like 2 separate posts. How do I respond to this? There's one from an hour ago and there's one for 2 hours ago. Does anyone know how to do this? Do I respond to this post? I'll respond. I'm going to respond. Let's get it out. Sure. Sure. I would. Watch this, guys. All right. There we go. Here we go. I'm going to respond right now. I am responding right now. I would love to attend. I would love to attend. Look at this. I'm official now. ... Is this a Twitter space? Is this a Twitter space? I'm going to send that right to Replying to Carl Banks. I would love to attend. Is this a Twitter space? Is this a Twitter space? I was there. Okay, I'm responding right now. You know, this is going to be a fucking nightmare. Why do I do things? I was there. Okay, all right. I am responding to Carl Banks right now. Okay, all right. I'm going to respond. Here we go. I'm responding. Please call into the Big Blue Live with John Who and Lance Meadows and ask them a question. I'll literally die in my chair. Okay, when's that? I'll do that. Respond to both. So do I respond to both messages on Twitter? How does this fucking thing work? I fucking hate Twitter. It's not Twitter, it's X. I hate X. Well, I can't say that because then they take me off the thing. I wrote, okay, this is what I wrote. Carl Banks wrote, you misinterpreted this invitation. I don't know how I misinterpreted it. I don't know. I didn't send anything to him. And then he wrote, ampersand or and sign, online Big Blue is absolutely welcome to join the discussion. My only request is that everyone rewatch the Colts game. We're exploring the possibility of the Giants offense with new tools. And then I wrote, I would love to attend. I was there that abnormally warm Sunday. Is this a Twitter space? There we go. Watch this, guys. You ready? You ready? Here we go. I'm sending it out. Sending it out. You know when you do something stupid and you know it's stupid and you're probably going to regret it? Here we go. Bang. There we go. Bang. Oh, Carl Banks is following me on Twitter now. That was nice of him. That was very nice, Carl Banks. I take back half the mean things I've said about him. Just joking. I won't take back anything. But respond to most recent. Oh, well, shit, Daryl. Where the hell were you a minute ago? I responded to the other one. Please, I'll do that. My super friends comments. It's gonna get some metal. I don't know, man. I don't know. There you go. I responded to Carl. Now what do you do? What do you do? What do you wait? Mellow. Let's see, Jen. Hope you have a great conversation with Carl Banks. Well, thank you. I don't know who you are, Mellow Mick, but I hope I have a great conversation with him as well. I don't know. I don't know. Now, okay, well, I guess we're done. We've responded to Carl Banks. We've decided this asshole that has the piece that I need for the carburetor is being an asshole. Nick's won. So that's a bonus. Anyone got anything giant related before I head out of here? Oh, and I am going to eat the brown roast-like substance. We had how many threes? We had a bunch of threes for me to eat the brown-like substance in the refrigerator. Okay. Logic Fine says, authentic were super duper Daniel Jones fans. They backtracked when he quit on the Giants. Daniel Jones did quit on the Giants. Can we talk about that for 1 second? People, and Tom Brady even said that he quit on the Giants. Tom Brady said that if the Giants did to him what they did to Daniel Jones, he still would have showed up every day. And everyone's like, well, they asked him to play safety on the scout team. No, they didn't ask him to play safety. They asked him to stand in a spot. He didn't have to do it. They asked him to stand in a spot. It's not like he was running around playing safety. They asked him to stand in a spot. And Daniel Jones is the one that left, and he's the one that asked for his release. So, yeah, he did quit on the Giants. Let's see here. I'm in. Access Tim. Oh, and also follow the Believe Network. Respond to both. Okay. Respond to the most recent. I didn't do that. Let's see your be well and be safe. Nixon 6. I'm already calling it Nixon 5. 4. I called it Nixon 4. I called it Nixon 6 the other day. I sent out messages to everyone, and then they won, and I put it up and called it Nixon 4. Hit that like button one more time, guys. Because, oh, we're at 41. I can leave. OG Knockout says, exactly. Daniel Jones did quit on the team, but delusional Giant fans give him a pet. You have a contract. You are being paid from the organization to be there daily. You're being paid for this, right? So no matter what your situation, no matter what you're doing, you show up. You know you're going to get paid either way. You show up. He made the decision that he doesn't want to be there anymore, and he leaves. Tells the Giants, I'm not coming back. That's literally quitting on an organization. Nixon 6, Mr. Alvarez says, everyone roasted the Giants for putting Jones on that scout safety, but he is the one who volunteered. The Giants were going to have him ride the bench. I didn't roast the Giants for it. That is probably one of the few times I did not roast the Giants when they put Daniel Jones on the scout team. I didn't roast the Giants for that. Because when you are just going to base, if you're on the scout team, you're not, first of all, if you go to college, there's multiple levels. You have first team, second team, third team, and then you have the scout team. Then, they have different levels after that as well, especially when, most of the time that the walk-ons are on the scout team, because they basically are mirroring or playing the other team's offense or defense. So they did not literally ask him to go out there and play safety. A lot of times when you're on the scout team, especially if you're running against like a third team defense, you don't do anything. You kind of just go through the motions. They hike the ball. You kind of meander a little bit. If you're out, especially when I played safety, when you're out in the defensive secondary, you kind of just like you don't do anything. You kind of just kind of like pretend you're doing something, and that was it. So it's not like they told him, go out there, you have to go play safety, and you got to go put your head in the pile and tackle somebody. No, they didn't say that. So, is what it is. Back in college, I played on offense. Never in a game. But if they needed someone to fill in at running back, or they need someone to, do something, then that's what I would do. How come no one wants Dave Meggett's number? I don't know, he's in jail for rape. I think that's probably what you're talking about. Let's see. Isn't Authentic a friend of the channel? Everyone's a friend of the channel. I don't have a problem with Mr. Authentic. A lot of people that follow this channel have a problem with Mr. Authentic, not me. A lot of people say that he says a lot of things that I say, but I don't know, because I don't watch giant YouTubers. So I can't tell you. I can't tell you if they're right or they're wrong. He's been on before. He's been on the show. He's been very gracious the times he's come on. He's been on the chat before. Everyone's welcome here. This is a safe space. We pet puppies and ride unicorns and paint rainbows. This is a safe space, man. I don't have a problem with Authentic. I don't have a problem with anybody. I don't have a problem with Bad Dog. I don't have a problem with Chris. Chris got a problem with me. I don't have a problem with anybody. Ask OGR. OGR hated me for years. Now I go to games with him. Every year I rent out a luxury suite at a minor league baseball team that's around here. And he came and he graciously came down. We hang out. I talked to him on the phone. I'm a nice guy. Yeah. Ms. Roberts says, I meant to say that some fans, also people, tend to forget that Jones had left after making the Giants look like a fool, and not so. He did quit on the team. He embarrassed them. He did embarrass them. He quit. He quit. Please calm down. Bob and I are big boys. Gatekeeping is not necessary. The parameters and subjects are clear. Calm down to what? Oh, geez, this is bad, guys. This is bad. It turns off actual fans to Askell. Oh my God, this person is so mean. John Snowglobe said, I don't like using the Lord's name in vain, so I'm not going to say what he wrote. He said, "You know, it's funny. Yes, I'm Irish Catholic. Don't give this troll a platform. He is the worst type of troll. I don't think I've ever trolled anyone. It's an actual turnoff for fans when assholes like this guys get legitimized like people like you. Please calm down. Bob and I are big boys. Gatekeeping is not necessary. The parameters of the subject are clear." Oh, it's already started. It's already started. Oh, people are so mean. People just don't like me, but that's all right. That's okay. You don't have to, you know what? You like what you don't, you dislike what you don't understand. That's what it is. There's going to be a new video out, I think, on Friday, and that of course is going to be the Southern New Hampshire University video, so make sure our new partner, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And if you're looking for a great degree in sports management, Southern New Hampshire University does have a degree available, so make sure you check that out as well. We're also going to be I don't know, we have a Knicks video out. So if you guys want to watch the Knicks video, that was a pretty good one today. I don't do a lot of Knicks videos, and I should. I wanted to do Knicks videos this year, but I just really didn't get a chance to get into that between this channel and get off my lawn. I really didn't have the opportunity. So make sure you go out and check out the Knicks video. Follow us on the Believe Network. I might do a short if I die from eating the leftover that I have in the thing. So we'll see what happens. So I want to appreciate everyone that came in and came about. Follow all this drama on Twitter. It's always fun. Make sure you follow that. And as always, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. For you did. This has been a good hour and 48 minutes. Catch the rebroadcast of this on Believe on their podcast network. So make sure you stay tuned for that as well. Anyone got any other comments or questions before I head out of here? Bueller? Anybody? It's all good. It's all good. Not me. That one. All right, we're out of here. This is already going downhill quick. All right, guys, if no one's got anyone else to say, don't forget Sunday live stream. Oh, no Sunday live stream because it is Mother's Day. So maybe we'll do, and I can't do a live stream on Saturday. So the Sunday live stream will be moved to Monday. There will be no other live streams this week besides the SMHU video. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And once again, guys, I appreciate everyone for hanging out for as long as they did. It's 12:50 here in the AM. Bring it. And next up,
Of course,
next up right now is going to be Kashmir at the top of the 10 minutes at the top of the hour. Enjoy. I was supposed to play the outro and I forgot.